Good screaming horde. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I just want to say thank you for digging yourselves up this morning to join me for Coffee Chat of Horrors. I am excited today because we get to introduce our guest. We're going to be speaking with Damon from the Slasher Social app. Yes, we are. I have him in the green room right now. Good morning, Macabre. How are you? Good morning. I hope you're having a great Sunday. I'm really excited because I have been on the Slasher app since, I think, conception, and it's a really cool social app for all things horror, sci-fi as well. So if you do exclamation point guest in the chat, it should bring up our guest information. I am going to bring Damon on, and yeah, so sit back. I hope you guys have your coffee and let's get this going. Oh, is my social media thing not going to work? Hi, creepy. I am ReAnimateHer. I know, it just sounds like a porno all of a sudden. Some zombies start stripping their clothes off and shit.
Cat dead. Details later.
We got our ball cleavage back, ladies.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. They're coming for you, Barbara.
Do you want a game and get your jollies off as well? This is Coffee Chat of Horrors. Hello, everybody. This is Damon from the Slasher app. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us about you and your app. Go for it.
So my name is Damon Della Greca. I created a mobile app called Slasher. It's a social network that was made just for the horror genre. Yeah, we've been going strong with that, thankfully, and people really seem to be into it. So it's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, I love the app. It's great. And not that long ago, didn't Joe Bob Briggs do a shout out for the Slasher app on the last drive-in?
He actually did a couple. It was really unexpected, and he and Darcy have just been really so nice. They've been super supportive and very cool. So I'm just so appreciative of them.
Oh, they are. I love Darcy, and I love the last drive-in. Who doesn't love Joe Bob? I remember watching him as a kid on Monster Vision. I'm sure you remember Monster Vision as well.
I go back a little further than that.
Yeah.
I saw him, I think it was his first show. Oh boy, Joe Bob's Drive-In.
Yeah,
I think
with
it was
the original.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun.
Definitely. Good morning, Dylan. Good morning. I think the bot might be sleeping still. Like, the bot's not waking up, it's Sunday morning. The bot's probably like, no, bitch. There we go. What is going on with the bot? Anyways, that's so weird. Oh, it's putting the last... Why is it doing it that way? Anyways, if you would like to know more about the Slasher app, there are all the links. I will definitely send you the link to the chat. I can do that right now. And there we go. Good morning, Handar. How are you? Let me quickly fix the bot here. I don't know why the bot is not putting the second P on the Slasher app. So let me just fix that really quick because I want you guys to be able to click on those links if at all possible. Just so if you want to join the app. Now I am on the Slasher app. I've been on it since I want to say its conception. I remember it being created. Now where is the guest? There we go. Now, why are you doing it this way? There. Let's just delete that there. Maybe that'll fix it. All right. Maybe that'll fix it. It is working. Good morning. Don't forget, guys, live chat instead of top chat so you can get so you can see all the conversation. If you do top chat only, You will only get top chat for those who are actually chatting a lot. If you do live chat, you'll get everybody's messages. Don't ask me why YouTube does it. Hello, Ake. Good morning. How are you? Now, Damon, what inspired you to create the slasher app? Like, did you just wake up one day and say, "Hey, the horror community needs a specific app"?
Not quite. It kind of started out with just me going to the horror conventions and stuff. I would go to a lot of conventions, but I sort of had an issue, like I was missing a bunch of them that were in the area, you know. So I would find out about them kind of after the fact, or like just it'd be too late to like book a hotel and get tickets and stuff like that. So I kind of saw that there was kind of a disconnect, and at the time I was online kind of a good bit, so really wasn't any reason for me not to find out about them.
Right.
You know, and I became friendly with a lot of the vendors at the conventions and stuff too. So when they weren't finding out about them, I said, all right, you know, there's something here. I need to sort of figure something out. So what I did was I put together this shared calendar, and I found every horror convention in the US and Canada and a few other types of conventions too. I just put them together in this shared calendar. And you know, I sent the links out to a bunch of people who I knew that would be into that sort of thing, and said, you know, hey, if you want to check these out, have fun, you know, see which ones you like, what you want to go to or whatever. And if anyone wants to go together, cool, you know.
I know.
So it kind of started out like that. And then as I was going to more of the conventions and talking to more of the vendors and more people and everything, I started to notice like even more and more disconnects. And there was, you know, everything was just very segmented. So there would be like, you know, you'd have your podcasters kind of scattered. You'd have your book people scattered, your movie people scattered. And there was no like real place that was unifying all the things. And, you know, you have the awesome websites and magazines all doing their thing, which they do very well, like all the articles and the news and the reviews and the interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just kept thinking like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what's happening? Like, what do we need? And then I started to see that like Instagram and Twitter were seriously starting to censor horror accounts.
Yes.
And I would see that people were getting banned. They were getting their accounts shut down. You know, they were having all kinds of strange issues. And it wasn't like they were showing real things. It was special effects, you know?
Oh, exactly. Yes.
So when I started to see that, it sort of became a big deal to me. And I'm like, well, okay, this is something that is very clearly fantasy. It's fiction. And there's also a lot of art involved here too. You know, there are stories, there's, you know, different types of craftspeople, whether it's special effects artists or directors or writers or, you know, actors or whoever it may be.
Right.
And it just kind of blew up into this thing where it was like, why is this happening here when there's like a very serious double standard? So, you know, they're willing to show X-rated content, but not R-rated content of this nature.
Nope.
And it frustrated me to see that there was that degree of censorship. And I was just really kind of fed up with the whole thing and decided, you know what, I'm just going to go and see what it's going to take to do my own thing. And, you know, I just started to write things down and plot it out and everything. And we're kind of where we are today,
It's
you know,
awesome.
as a result of that, you know?
Yeah, no, that's great. There are certain pictures that I have done for horror. I did American Mary cosplay. One of my pictures was removed from Instagram, and it wasn't anything sexy. It was bloody. So I was able to put it up on the Slasher app, but I was unable to keep it up on Instagram. There was a few others that I've done where I've done a bloody pinup. Same thing, too much violence and whatever they said in their little thing when they took my picture down. I didn't get suspended or anything. They just censored my image. So I was like, well, that kind of sucks. But I'm really glad for your app. I've met many horror people through the Slasher app, and I've only seen it get bigger and bigger. I actually seen the shout out of, well, one of the shout outs on the last drive-in, watching one of the specials that Joe Bob was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the censorship is insane. I don't really use Facebook, but Macabre Tavern, who is in the chat, was saying that Facebook is, it's tough on Facebook for a lot of the horror groups that are in there. And I can see that because Instagram is owned by Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So I can see the censorship, and they censor everything anyways.
Yeah.
Good morning, Joy Toy. Good morning, Regal. I hope you guys are doing good this morning. If you're just joining us, this is Damon from the creator of the Slasher app. If you do exclamation point guest in the chat, you'll be able to pop up all of the information. It is an app for your mobile phone. If you like horror and you want to meet more horror-related people or podcasters, download it on your phone, iOS and Android. It's a good app. It's a good app. I highly suggest it.
Thank you.
Oh, you are quite welcome. I enjoy it. There's stuff that I can post on there that I can't post on Instagram. And again, I don't use Facebook, so I don't worry about being censored over there too much.
Right.
We have a question from one of my Patreon people who aren't here today. But they want to know what horror movie sparked your love for the genre?
So the first one I saw was Poltergeist. I was just a kid at the time, and I happened to, we just got cable at that time, so I'm going through the channels and everything, and I see this movie. It's like got this weird vibe to it. So I'm like, all right, I'll check this out. Right. So I ended up watching Poltergeist as I think I was like 9 or something like that. And that was just, that was the wildest ride I had ever been on, just seeing this movie. And it's like the kids were the focus of all the supernatural stuff that was going on. And I was like, oh man, I'm done.
Yeah.
So seeing that was just that's what got me hooked. The rush of what's going to happen next. How are these people going to get out of this? That was it. That was it. And then once I saw that, it was all over. And then not long after that, I discovered Joe Bob and was like, there's this library of amazing movies that sort of spilled into the open. And I was like, all right, I can get behind this. And then I started to go to like the video store down the street, and the guy was really cool, thankfully. So he kind of let me rent whatever I wanted.
That's awesome.
It was. But yeah, it was really great. It was so much fun to have that cool progression of like the discovering of it and evolving into like, where can things go? Like what other stories are people telling? It was so much fun. So much fun.
The friggin' clown coming underneath that bed. Holy shit. Yeah. I seen Poltergeist as a young one as well. And, you're sitting there, you're watching it. You can relate to the little girl in the film and the brother because you're usually around that age. And that clown scene, that tree got me because I had a tree outside my bedroom window that was very similar to that damn thing. And the clowns, I'm not a big fan of clowns to begin with. And that might be one of the reasons why, but that's some scary shit. I always thought something was going to come out of underneath my bed to grab my feet because I can never sleep with my feet hanging off my bed. That's just a thing. I cannot do it. My feet have to be covered with my blanket too.
Yep.
I think that's watching horror movies at a young age.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they did it all. I mean, the tree, the clown, like sitting on the chair,
the TV.
Under the bed, the closet, the street. Like there was nothing. Like no place was safe. The bathtub, everything was just it was over.
Exactly. I agree with you. Macabre, awesome. When you download it, you can look for me. I'm ReAnimateHer under the Slasher app as well. So if you download, well, you are downloading it, as you say, find me on there, add me as a friend, and I will add you back as a friend. And check it out. Check out the app. It's you'll like it. There's a section for podcasts. I know some of you are into those horror podcasts. There's a complete section in the when you hit the 3 bars or whatever it is on the left side of the app. You click on that, it'll open up a whole new window, a whole sidebar of other areas that you can do. It has a dating section. It has, so if you're a horror fan looking for another horror fan, podcaster, all that fun stuff on there. And you can advertise. Is that correct? They can people can advertise on Slasher app.
Yeah, absolutely. We're selling advertising to support the app and to, to keep the lights on, to keep building new and cool features. I've got several years worth of new features that I want to add still. We're still only a fraction of the way through of what I want this to ultimately be. So it's getting there.
Right.
It's growing and it's doing its thing. So yeah, but people can definitely advertise and sponsor the app and things like that. They could, post on the timeline just like you can in most other social networks and everything. So people definitely have some opportunities to connect with others, whether it's just connecting as a fan and finding other people who are into the same stuff, or connecting as a professional, trying to find people who might be into what you're doing. It's really something for everybody.
Oh yeah, and my own personal take from the app, there is something for everybody. Like I said, I've met numerous people from the app, people that I already knew that joined the app that I didn't know they were even a part of the app. Like Final Girl Friday, Molly Oblivion. I had her on Coffee Chat of Horrors last year. We had the pleasure of speaking with her, and I knew Molly from TikTok. I met her on TikTok.
That's
had
awesome.
No idea that she was on the Slasher app, and then now we're friends on the Slasher app, Instagram, wherever.
Yep. Yeah, I remember she had an episode where when she was talking about it on her podcast, when she just found out about it, and it was the coolest thing. Like, I was just really happy to hear her reaction. I thought it was so cool. And she has been so nice.
Oh yeah, she is. She's an awesome person. And I stream live on Twitch. I do a lot of horror games over on Twitch, so I speak about the app over there. I know some of my community members, the Horde, did sign up over there. So I'm hoping they enjoy the app. I haven't heard much. I haven't actually seen them posting much, but it's okay. Zombie Guts, good morning. Good morning. Now, I heard from some baby bats that there is a crowdfunder, maybe a Kickstarter that's going to be happening soon.
Yeah, I'm putting it together now. It's basically going to be something to help us just build more features even faster.
Right on.
Like, there's some stuff I really, really want to get out there for people so they can make the app even more useful, more enjoyable, and find more of the stuff that they want more easily. So it's going to be like kind of just a pre-sale, so to speak, for some new and limited edition merchandise that we're coming out with, like the T-shirt design contest winner.
Yeah.
Their design is going to be up there. I came up with a new design that is going to be starting out there. It's not going to be limited edition, but that one it's going to debut there, and it's not going to be available through the regular shop for probably a couple months.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's exciting, and definitely let me know when that Kickstarter happens, and I will pass it on to others. When you're an independent app not being ran by bigger companies, you have to rely on ads and the community to keep everything going. So I definitely understand that. And it's a great app. And it's not just horror. You have people on it that like sci-fi, anything under that can be considered horror underneath that umbrella. Podcasters, vodcasters like myself, gamers like myself, people who just love going to cons, sharing pictures of the cons. What I really like is the YouTube, where you can take your YouTube link and post it onto your post. Instead of having to upload a video, you can just put it right there, and people can go right to your channel right from that link, where Instagram doesn't do that.
Right. Yeah, Instagram, you can't use links at all, really. You have to just have it in your profile, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Slasher, you could post links, and all the stuff works. but yeah, when you share a YouTube link, it'll pop the video right into the post. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I really like that. That is something that Instagram lacks. And I think it's because Instagram tries to push their reels and other things. Or
Mhm.
technically, I think it's because they don't want people leaving their site, right? If people leave you,
Possibly.
if they leave your site, they're not staying there, means that they're not
Right.
seeing the ads, means they're not getting the money. Instagram is the same thing as any other app that's out there. They rely on your time on that app. So if you're
Yep.
not spending those hours and you're going off to someone else's links, that time that you're on that other person's link, regardless of their follower account, you're
Yeah.
taking time from that app. And one of the best things that I really liked features on the Slasher app is the fact that you can put your links there and people can click on it and they're able to watch this video or any other video that I post up there, whether it's live or recorded content. Your pictures
Right.
are up there just as regular. So just like you would do Instagram, you can throw your pictures up there and you're not constricted to a specific size either.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. One of the cool things, though, is that, like you were saying, a lot of these apps and sites and everything want you to stay kind of captive in their app
Yeah.
or on their site or whatever. But part of the thing that keeps people interested in coming back to Slasher is the fact that people are sharing so much cool stuff. So
Mhm.
if you want to find out about all these things, you're going to come back. I don't mind if people are going to click on somebody's ad and go and check out their stuff. I think that's important. I want to see a lot of these people, everyone really, I want to see
Mhm.
everyone be successful. Because the more people that are successful, the easier it is for the rest of us to sort of work together with them and also achieve our own success. So having people like you, like Molly, like, whoever else, it's important that everyone sort of finds their stride
Right.
and can reach people, because everyone has something interesting to say somebody's going to find it interesting. A
Mhm.
lot of people probably are. So the more that we have, the more we can get it around, the more we're going to find out about, the more we'll be able to enjoy ultimately. So I think it's good. I think it's important that people go and discover things and come back and find new things. I think that's really important to everything.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'm always coming back to the Slasher app. I don't ever just leave the app. I may not post anything that day or a couple of days. Like I do the same thing on Instagram. I don't post for a couple of days because I don't really have anything that I want to post that day, but I'm still interacting with other people's posts and checking things out. Good
Right.
morning, Lost Signal Society. Now, Lost Signal Society, you may really enjoy this app. I know you may have heard me talk about it a few times, is the Slasher app. This is Damon, the creator of the Slasher app, and it is an app dedicated to the fans of horror. Dahi, thank you so very much for becoming a Leviathan here on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I hope everyone is having a good Sunday. You all remember, hey, we need to friend up on there. See, Lost Signal is a actress. Well, part of, because there's a few people that do the Lost Signal Society. Producer, actress. I've had Chris Creature on the show. She's one of the people who run. Everyone should join Slasher. I completely agree, Lost Signal. Completely agree.
Thank you. That's really nice of you.
I had Chris Creature on the show. We spoke about horror, upcoming events that she has.
Yeah.
Really great. Definitely awesome.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I love finding out about what other people do, because then it gives me a chance to check it out.
Oh,
And
for sure.
I love especially indie horror movies. So whenever I see something, I will go check out the trailer. I'll go watch the movie. Whatever I'm able to do, I like to do that. I find that people who are doing indie stuff that don't have gigantic budgets,
Yeah.
sometimes just tell better stories. They're
I agree.
more thorough because there's a lot more passion behind it. I feel like, not to say that there's not passion in bigger budget projects, but
Oh, of course.
I feel like people who are doing this out of their, with a certain amount of care,
Yeah.
and because they don't have all these gigantic resources, that it's done a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I think that translates really well a lot of times.
I completely agree. I'm an indie horror host, right? So I create, I produce, I edit, I do all of this myself. There is no there is no huge producer in the background. I have my Patreon people and my YouTube people that subscribe onto my Patreon to invest in helping me be able to continue to create Coffee Chat. I'm a
Yeah.
huge supporter of the independent film and anything indie. That's why I do Coffee Chat of Horrors. I've had Vincent DeSanti from Womp Stomp here, who did Never Hike Alone.
Yep.
James Sweet from Jason Rising. Todd and Billy Blair from Cherokee Creek. I don't know if you've seen Cherokee Creek.
I don't think I've seen it. I know about it though. I don't think I've
You've
seen
got to
it
see
though.
it.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Low budget comedy horror Sasquatch.
Nice.
Yes. I love it. I've seen it. I own the Blu-ray, so I've seen it like 4 times. I think I'm going to watch it this weekend.
Nice.
That is how much I enjoy Cherokee Creek. I had them on the show, and we were talking about their project. I think it's very important for people like us to be able to showcase independent filmmakers or in anything indie game makers, authors, because they don't have that big budget behind them. They're not going to have New Line Cinemas or Paramount, throwing hundreds and thousands of dollars at them. It's usually crowdfunded, volunteered, and through their blood, sweat, and tears. And
Absolutely.
and they're horror fans or a fan of whatever they're doing. Like Vincent DeSanti is a huge horror fan. Deborah Voorhees, she played in Friday the 13th. She created 13 Fanboy. And these are created by horror fans for horror fans, right? Like you can just see the love in it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really big deal when people are able to share that passion with others. It really does show that they care about what they're doing.
Oh, for sure. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Bobby. How are you? For those of you just joining, this is Damon, the creator of the Slasher app. If you do !guest in the chat, you'll be able to pop up all of the information. You can get the Slasher app on your mobile phone, iOS and Android. It is interesting to hear how limited budget affects the creative process. It does. It really does.
Yeah, definitely.
If anybody has questions for Damon, please feel free to ask away. You are more than welcome to ask. I will make sure to copy and paste it in here. I do have a couple other questions from some of my Patreon. One comes from Watson. Now, I already asked this question as a fun question, but Watson is asking, if you could choose any monster, what monster would it be?
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
It is. There's so many awesome monsters.
Yeah. Wow. Oh man. I'm sure I've probably answered this question in the past, but the thing about my answers is they're probably going to change a lot unless it's something completely like what was the first horror movie I watched,
Right.
Because my tastes change and I don't lock into favorites, so to speak. So if I have answered this and it's changed, it happens. But I mean, right now, I would say probably. Oh man, I think the one that might be like very, very relatable, at least, is Frankenstein's monster.
Yes.
When you look at the things that happens and the fact that he didn't ask to be created, he just all of a sudden there he was, with a mishmash of parts that were just sort of stitched together and now he's this thing and everybody's afraid of it for the most part, except for the little girl and stuff.
Right.
So it really speaks a lot. And I think it's really cool to have a kind of a, just that kind of commentary on life. I think it's really cool and relatable for a lot of people, especially horror fans.
Yeah.
As you know, we're a very marginalized group when it comes to the mainstream. If you search the hashtag horror on Instagram, you'll find that out very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's nice to to see that there are people who understand and we can resonate with. Again, that's something I think is super important, to have that and to know that you're not alone out there, in what you're interested in, what you like, how you live. I think it's a big deal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
Frankenstein's
mhm.
monster is my favorite monster. It's who I related to as a little girl. I was a
Yeah.
loner. I didn't have many friends. People
Yep.
misunderstood you, and it's exactly Frankenstein's monster story. He's not an evil monster like Dracula would what is, right? He wasn't he never asked to be made. He accidentally killed a lady. It's not like he meant to kill her. It
Yep.
was an accident. He was forced into doing what he did. The little girl, he was kind to the little girl, and we see that in the evolution of horror. Anytime they bring a Frankenstein's monster in, even in the Monster Squad, he's still a lovable character, a character that doesn't mean any ill will, and he's just misunderstood because he looks grotesque.
Yeah.
He looks scary, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good morning, Mischief Maker. Good morning, Zach. Good morning, Nadra. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. Any favorite for the time being, final girl or gals or girls? Dahi wants to know for the time being, final girl, final gal, final guys or final girls. Favorite ones.
That's a good one.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Could be a hard one.
It is. I mean,
There's so
there's
many
so
good
many
ones.
I mean, I think between, Ashley Lawrence and Heather Langenkamp,
Mm.
Heather being from Nightmare on Elm Street and
Yep.
Ashley from Hellraiser,
Hmm.
um, I think between the two of them, like they were solid. They were totally solid, and
Yeah.
they were just really cool. I like their characters. I like the way they played them out. I think it was great. It was
Yeah.
really cool.
No, they're great final girls. Good morning, 8-Bit. Also, Marcus, good morning. I forgot to say good morning to you. And I feel you, Dahi. My fingers and don't type correctly. It's all good. It's hard to English so early in the morning. Cue the Jeopardy theme. My favorite final girl and final guys. Now I have Ripley is my most favorite of the final
yeah.
girls. She for
Yeah.
me is the epitome of a final girl. And my favorite final guys are Tucker and Dale from the movie Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Yes, they're terrific.
It is my favorite horror comedy of all time besides Shaun of the Dead. And I just watched Tucker and Dale last night again for the 100th time.
Have you watched Resident Alien?
Oh my God, yes. I'm waiting for episode 3 to come out.
So good.
Oh, I love that guy. He is friggin' hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite role of his. I know a lot of people love him from Firefly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And of course Tucker and Dale. I think that is by far the best role he's had. He gets to be very versatile in that role, and it's fantastic.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He definitely does. I love that TV. Zach, thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you, Lost Signal. I will have to agree with you because he gets to play at first his own self, and then he's fighting himself, right? And then an alien, and he has got to put on a persona and pretending to be an alien. How easy is it to pretend to be an alien? I wouldn't imagine it's that easy because you'd have to pretend not to know anything about humans. And bring that forward, and he does it so great.
Well, I like when he was learning the language, like English,
Oh my
by
God.
watching Law and Order.
Oh my God, yes, and the word douchebag and taint, I was rolling. Oh my Lord.
Just looked them up. That was great.
And his facial expression when he was looking up the taint part. Oh my goodness. If you guys haven't checked out a sci-fi original called Resident Alien, it is hilarious. It is a funny friggin' show, and they only have 2 seasons out right now. I am on the second season. I think episode 3 drops on the 9th of February. They were given the green light to do a third season, so we're getting a third season.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. That's really cool.
Oh, Dahi, you have to watch it. He plays an alien where he knows nothing about the human race. So the words douchebag and taint are words that he has to look up on his phone, and his facial reactions are so real, like he's never even seen it before. So, God, Heavy and I were rolling. Go ahead.
I love his dynamic with the little kid. That was the funniest thing, especially when he got mad at him and he sort of tried to confront him.
Yes, he calls him an asshole.
Yeah.
The only guy I know that can call a child. Yeah. And Zach, it is funny. So you have a YouTube channel on the Slasher app. Do you use your YouTube channel for the Slasher?
Not too much. I'm starting to sort of piece together what I want to do with it.
Okay.
I think I have a really, really great idea for it. And when I'm able to sort of really flesh it out and put it together, I think we're going to have some very cool stuff.
Awesome.
It's going to be, well, I'm aiming for it to be original content, but not created by me or Slasher.
Right.
I'm planning it out. I don't want to give too much away.
That's all good.
If it doesn't happen, that would really suck.
Exactly. Well, guys, right there, if you want to go and follow here, subscribe to the channel, the Slasher app here on YouTube, you can do so. It's not in my links, unfortunately, but I will add it to the description if anybody is wanting to follow it. Keep an eye on it, because that is where there's going to be new information coming. But yeah, with Resident Alien, it's funny. The only adult that I know that can call a kid a shithead and an asshole and a douchebag and get away with it.
It was so good.
Yes, it is. Peacemaker is absolutely hilarious. Probably my favorite new show, Peacemaker. I don't think I've seen that.
I haven't either. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, okay.
I'm gonna have to
that's the John Cena show, the spinoff from Suicide Squad, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, that's the DC show. Yeah, I've heard it's terrific.
Okay, I'm gonna add that to my list. Thanks, Zach. I haven't seen it. I don't even think I've heard of it. Peacemaker.
Yep. Yeah, it was. Did you see the new Suicide Squad movie?
I tried. I couldn't get into it. I didn't really care for it. I liked the first one. I really liked the first one, and I'm not a comic book person. Like I love my horror comics, but I'm not a DC Marvel type of person. So the first one was great. The second one, it was the beginning of the movie that I could not get into it. Me and Heavy tried to get into it. We watched it for like 15, 20 minutes, and it was just like, what the fuck are we watching?
Yeah, I can kind of understand that. Like, I felt the same way. I felt it was just bizarre.
Yeah, it was,
especially having seen the other one.
Yeah.
But that's where the character came from, a Peacemaker, and I think he already had the spinoff by the time the Suicide Squad movie came out. But yeah, I hear nothing but great things about that. So yeah, I need to check it out too. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah. I get to learn about new shows and movies all the time. Every time I do a CCOH, there's always something. Either our guest has a show that I haven't seen or a movie, or the chat does. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. There is, what is the movie that I'm thinking of that, oh crap, it's another independent film. I just stumbled upon it. Butchers. Have you heard of the movie Butchers?
Yes. I think somebody posted about that not too long ago.
That's an independent cannibal slasher film that I would definitely recommend watching.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
that out.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And I found it just by flipping through. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and I found it just by flipping through my Amazon. Can't sleep one night, so I'm just like, what's going on here? Netflix has actually stepped up their game in horror.
Yes. Yeah, they've been coming out with more and more stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so here's something that's kind of interesting. Did you see? And I know this movie does get a lot of hate, which, hey, everyone's got their thing that they like and that they don't like.
Exactly.
Did you see Army of the Dead?
Yes, I did. I liked it.
So all the interior casino scenes are at the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City, where they have a horror convention, NJ HorrorCon Film Festival.
Oh, right on.
So what happened was, and it's kind of funny because when they were filming, they actually had to move the convention because it was being filmed at the same time. So Zack Snyder was there, and a whole bunch of other people were there. I think Batista was there. They bumped the convention up to the second floor, and they were filming a horror movie, which turned out to be like kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And then, so when you see it, like there's this really nasty looking carpet that's like bright pink and blue and gold and all these.
I think I remember that.
So whenever you see that, that's the interior of where the convention is normally held. So that's like the only thing that, you know, you could say like I go to a horror convention where they filmed a big horror movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool.
It is.
And I don't think I've ever heard them even say that when promoting the convention, but it's a thing. You know, most people don't get to say that.
No, that is very true. And Joy Toy, I agree with you. Lots of thrilling shows on Netflix because, God forbid, they tag things as horror. Yeah. Unfortunately, the hashtag horror gets censored, or the word horror gets censored. On Instagram, that is a censored word. So if you just do hashtag horror, that is a censored word. If you do Insta horror, that's different, or like horror host, horror movie. But the term horror is basically non-existent on a lot of social places. Yeah,
if you search for it on Instagram, like if you do a search for that hashtag, it'll come up and ask you like, "Are you okay?"
Yep.
Yeah, want to see horror movies? Fuck off.
Exactly. And that's the strangest tag. It drives me insane because there's a difference between horror and thriller. There's a big difference between horror and thriller. And it does suck when you're looking for something and it's under thriller. And it's like, it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
I did like Army of the Dead. I thought it was a great film. There could have been some stuff cut out of it because it's a long film. And I think there's a few things that didn't need to be in there that they exaggerated on, and I would have loved to see more on the Queen zombie. I mean, that would have been awesome. I would like to see an extension of the zombie family, because technically that is the first time, besides I Am Legend, they're not really zombies in I Am Legend. So this is the first time that I can think of in the zombie history where we have zombies that actually come together as a husband and wife, king and queen, and actually made a baby.
Well, apparently Zack Snyder was signed on to make I don't know how many movies on that series. Netflix spent some ridiculous amount of money to have him do like this whole thing. So there's going to be I don't know how many more movies. There's going to be, I think there's apparently going to be a series too, or at least a limited series.
There is a limited series on Netflix right now. Oh crap, I cannot remember the name of it. It's on my watch list. It's on my to-watch list, and it is by Zach. I would have loved to see, and I'm hoping that they're going to expand and maybe make an hour and 30-minute on the zombie king and queen. I was upset that they killed the queen in Army of the Dead. Because I thought that would have been a really great extension, part of the storyline. Like I said, there's a few things in the movie that I could have done without, that they exaggerated on. Like I could have done without the whole Batista daughter, the whole thing there. We kind of got that idea already. We didn't need to drag on the background on that. We could have added a little bit more of the zombie queen and king, because that was really interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they sort of go back and revisit that a little bit in the upcoming movies. That'd be really, really cool. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, hey, it wasn't like the best movie ever made. But
it wasn't horrible by any means. Not at all. I enjoyed it.
It was just a good time. It was fun. It was a popcorn flick,
Yeah, I really like the King and Queen, and I would love to see a spin-off on that because I don't in my whole zombie knowledge here, I don't ever remember there being a King and Queen zombie where they actually had a community that it wasn't a comedy like Fido and stuff like that or
Right.
Warm Bodies. A serious, and when I say serious zombie movie, I'm talking a serious zombie movie, not a Warm Bodies or a Fido zombie comedy or Shaun of the Dead. We don't really see a film about zombies coming together and making a family, making a community, and trying to live their own life. I mean, we do see it in iZombie, but again, that's a TV show and it's a little bit different. We do see it in the Santa Clarita Diet, but that's technically different.
Yep.
So I would have loved to see more on that King and Queen. I think it would be very interesting.
They did establish like this whole hierarchical society. It was interesting. It really was. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with it, what other things they do. I mean, that was it. Army of Thieves was the first spinoff.
I think
like
so.
Prequel to that.
I think so.
I haven't seen that yet. I haven't really heard anything about it, honestly. But
right.
I mean, it's interesting that they're going to these different places and exploring other things. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to do.
Oh yeah, and I'm one of those people that I will see a horror movie regardless of what it is, and if I enjoy it, I enjoy it. It doesn't matter if it sucked to me or if it was really low budget and it had really awesome things to it. I mean, I'll still watch it because I just love horror.
Yeah.
Right? I just love it. Harjar has a question and wants to know, do you play any video games? And if so, what kind of games do you play?
I think I told this to you the other day, but Earth Defense Force. I love Earth Defense Force on PlayStation. It's like, it just reminds me of those 50s horror movies.
Yeah.
Like you're just going around and you're shooting giant ants and giant spiders and bees and like UFOs and aliens and like all kinds of crazy stuff. It can get intense at times and very grindy, but I think it's fun. You know, there's not a lot to it. It's one of those games where you can just kind of kick back and, you know, you're kind of on cruise control, just shooting at things.
Yeah. Oh, it's creature features, right? The big giant ants and the 8-legged freaks, which is the huge ass spiders. And
yeah, absolutely.
Always a good time. Definitely a hard jar. Check it out. There is, are you interested in the upcoming Evil Dead game that's coming?
Oh, totally.
So excited.
You know, I haven't really played too many games lately. It's been like months, but I'm always excited to see what they're going to come out with, what they're going to do, how, like what the mechanics of the games are going to be, like how what the gameplay is like. They're just always finding cool new stuff to do, and you know the bar keeps getting raised and raised. So
that it does.
I love seeing where things are going to go.
Gun Media and Sumo Nottingham are coming out with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. That's not coming out quite yet, and I don't know if it'll even be out in the fourth quarter of 2022. But that one, they announced that the Game Awards a bit back, and the Evil Dead game comes out May 13th. I'm so excited.
That's cool. Yeah,
I have the previous games. I have the previous games.
Oh, that's cool.
The PlayStation ones, like the old ones, they're really hard.
Yeah, I think the one that I had was like, I think it was like back in on PS2 or something like that. That was the last one I had.
I still own my PlayStation 2.
That's cool.
The games are so much harder, I feel, back on the older consoles like the NES and the PlayStation 1s and 2s. I feel that they were harder. Maybe that's just me, but I do feel that those games were harder.
Oh yeah, well there were no instructions, there was no guidance or anything like that. It was just like, you know, here's how the controls work. Go ahead.
Right? There was no, and then back in the day, there was no internet to go find a walkthrough.
No, you had to like literally get a map of the whole thing. Like remember in like PlayStation magazine, the gaming magazine, you would like they would lay out the whole map of the whole place, and they would tell you like how to play through and everything. I mean, you still had to play the game. There were no tips or hints or anything like that. I mean,
Nope.
that was it. You still had to play it.
Yep.
And yeah, that was hard. Like, just even certain levels of Super Mario and stuff like that. Like, you might have to go through it 20 times till
I
you.
know. I agree. And then those magazines gave birth to the strategy guides.
Yeah.
Remember when strategy
Yeah.
guides were a thing? They're no
Oh, yeah.
longer a thing. I mean, I haven't seen a strategy guide at my local EB Games, which is our only game store. I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Joy Toy, they were harder. I will agree. And
Mhm.
Zach says he has a fistful of Boomstick on Xbox. Nice, Zach. I own that one as well. And yeah, there was no hand holding and we had no saves. So it wasn't like you have now, oh, I can save this
Yep.
and come back later. There was none of that going on in the Nintendo when I started gaming.
No, that's true. That's true. And I mean, I started out on like Atari and television and that stuff.
Yep.
Holy God. Like, just playing like Yar's Revenge and stuff like that, man, like Pitfall, Frogger. Frogger, I recently figured out that Frogger and Crossy Road are basically the same game.
Yeah. Oh, God,
Oh.
so hard. It's not fun, though.
Yeah, but they were so hard. Like, you just had to figure it out. It was like those games were like the real deal.
Yeah.
Like, you had to figure out how the game worked.
Yes, that is so true. And Dahi, I will have to agree with you. The controls are hard. When you go from a newer console controller, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox or even the Nintendo Switch, and then you try to play one of your retro games, it's like, oh my God, this is so foreign. I will have to agree with you. The controls are definitely difficult.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I agree, like Ake said, no reticles except for the one you put on your TV screen with a marker. Good morning, Reaper. Harder wants to know, how is your writing process for the social app? And do you go into like any type of isolation or have a creative process? What are your steps are for creating what you do or the ideas that you receive for the app?
That's a really good question. Like, it just kind of depends. Like, different things come to me in different ways, right? Sometimes it's just I'll be looking at the way people are doing things and seeing, okay, maybe people are facing a challenge here, or this could be better, or we're missing out on being able to do this. So that's one way, is just sort of defining what needs may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, like, if I don't see anything specific, sometimes I'll just sit down and start typing lists of things like, okay, if I can do anything I wanted with this, what would I want to see? Like, what would I want to have? What would I want to experience,
Right.
So I'll just sit down and think of all these different things, all these different paths it can take. And, that's why there's probably another, 5 years worth of new features that can be added.
Right on.
Because, I'll just let the floodgates open and go, yeah, this would be awesome. And that would be awesome. And I'd love to be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not just thinking about it as like a business.
Right.
I think that's where a lot of people get caught up and stuck on things. I'm thinking about it as a fan, like, what would I want to be able to do? And I think it's important to be able to do that sort of thing. And, some of the stuff other people will like and connect with, and some may fall flat. It's really just going to come down to talking to people and saying, hey, what do you think of this? And what do you think of
Right.
that? And which, I do.
Oh yeah, you do. I remember the post that you put up on the Slash Rap asking the community there about certain things, and you
Yeah.
got a lot of feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. People have been really great. And it really comes down to, like, is this something that people are going to care about? Is this something that they're going to enjoy?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's important for me to talk and get feedback and things like that, because I want to make sure that people are having fun and enjoying themselves and finding it useful, finding it meaningful.
Right.
You know, because I know horror fans may not have as much in terms of, you know, or do they care about certain things, whereas like creators and artists and people like that who are making things,
Right.
you know, I'll call them the professionals. You know, there are things that they might care about much more than a fan would.
Right.
And it's really stuff that would help the creators connect with the fans in more meaningful ways.
I know.
So that way they could sort of do what I'm doing, but like, you know, with their books or their movies or their art or whatever it is, you know, they can kind of get a feel for what people are into, what they like, what they want. So that way they can sort of tailor their businesses accordingly. And they can build on their success too.
Yeah, no, that's great. That is definitely great. Joy Toy, I agree with you. Serial is not here to cry about his fake Ninja Turtles game, Battletoads. I don't know, have you ever played Battletoads?
I haven't.
Oh, it's a rage-inducing game.
I haven't. I know about it. And I've seen it. I don't think I've ever played it though.
Oh my lord, I would not play it. It's just a rage-inducing game. A buddy of mine, a serial killer, was over on Twitch and he was playing the game Battletoads, and to see him die repetitively, oh gosh. Yeah.
But that's an old one, right?
It is an old game, yes. Yes. Hardjar wants to know, do you have to write everything down, or do you just remember what you are thinking that you want to do? Or do you have have a secret, top secret notebook?
I mean, I do write things down, and sometimes I write things down in 20 different places, repeatedly. So like
Yeah,
I
I do
have
that.
the same thing in like 10 different places. It just depends on where I am and what I'm doing at the time.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely keep notes of things, because if I come up with a new feature and that has certain capabilities, I want to make sure I remember them, so that way I can go back and look at them and go, okay, I remember that. I want to make it work this way. And
Right.
if I come up with other ways to do that or something like that, I could sort of edit and tweak and just really refine everything over time. But yeah, I definitely do that. It's really, really important.
Oh, I agree. I have my, oh crap, I'm knocking everything over. This is my other note. This is one of my numerous notebooks. This is my top secret stuff for my content creation and stream. I
Nice.
also use my phone. I have an app. I have a Samsung Notes app on here where I do a lot of typing. I have notebooks all over my house because I'm really horrible to just grab one of my notebooks and keep it as one. Because I can be
Yeah.
in the kitchen and all of a sudden I'm cooking dinner and I have this idea and I'm like, oh shit. So I got a notebook in the kitchen where I write down some stuff. I have a notebook in my living room where I'm like, okay, let's scribble this in. I
Yep.
will forget.
Yeah, no, I know. And I mean, especially with the creative process, these are things you don't want to forget. You know,
No.
you want to keep your ideas, you want to refine them, you want to build upon them, and you want to just make them so that they're workable.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's super, super important. But yeah, having them all over the place, I totally get it. You know, usually I'll just like pop my phone open and go, okay, here's some stuff, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's there's a lot. It's really easy to jump down a rabbit hole with that kind of stuff.
Yes, it is. Good morning, Monkey. I hope you're doing well. Lost Signal Society wants to know, have you ever had a bug on the app turn into a feature, like a happy little accident?
I wish my life was more like Bob Ross's in some ways. No, usually when there's a bug, it's a shitstorm. They, you know, sometimes there'll be simple things, but no, I haven't come across anything like that. Unfortunately, it would be cool. It would be really, really cool. But no, everything has been pretty specific and planned out, and like anything that we do find, I try to eliminate it as quickly as possible. So if somebody tells me, hey, like I'm having this issue and helps me understand it,
Right.
I'll jump right in and try to take care of it as quickly as I possibly can. Which sometimes it's days, sometimes it's weeks, sometimes it's months, depending
Right.
on what it is and how severe it is. But yeah, that's
I
I
can
haven't
definitely see
had such luck with that kind of thing.
that. That leads me to one of my questions from my Patreon members, Mr. Agent Man. What are some of the frustrations that you have endured creating this social app?
Um, hmm. It's usually time. Um, I I tend to work very, very quickly.
Hmm.
Um, like I'm usually able to see something very clearly, um, write the whole process out for things and get it done. But when it comes to getting things fixed, like the whole thing with the servers that we had going on and the
Yeah.
performance and all that stuff, which is still happening with the iOS version until Apple approves it. Um, we it's things like that just drive me nuts, because I'm like, I'm able to get things done quickly, but then you have sort of extenuating circumstances or outside forces that
Right.
come into play sometimes, and that just throws the whole rhythm off. At least that I have. So, of course, I want to get things fixed or add new features and do things as quickly as possible. Um, because it's going to benefit everyone. It's going to benefit the people who are using it, so that way they can have fun, or things are going to work properly for them, and this and
Hmm.
that. And I can keep building, because that's what I really do. Is
Right.
I develop new things and build new things and create stuff. I don't like being stuck in fixing mode, and I've
Right.
been stuck there for like several months.
Hmm.
Um, and that's the one thing that just really it drives me absolutely crazy.
I bet. And having to wait for something like iOS to approve things, that's got to be very frustrating.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I'm sitting here like, okay, I've got like pages and pages of new stuff, let's go.
Yeah.
um so yeah, it's things like that. Like I like to move forward and keep things as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would say time. Like, yeah,
Well, time is always a big issue for many people because normally this is not their only job that they do. Like,
right.
so you usually, so other people have full-time jobs and they're just working on something as a hobby, hoping to eventually turn it into something that they could work on full-time.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in that boat myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I I work on this full time, and I do my other company, like, as I you know I'm able to work more efficiently with my other company.
Right. Right. Less,
um,
less constraints and having to wait for certain things.
yep. But I mean, ultimately, I spend most of my waking time working on stuff.
I feel you on that because that's what I do as well. I'm lucky enough to have amazing people who like to invest in my content,
Yes.
and it's only because of those people who invest in my content that I am
Mhm.
able to create content full time. If I
Yeah.
didn't have those amazing people investing their hard-earned money into what I do, I would not be able to do the content creation, the video games that I would play on Twitch and Coffee Chat of Horrors. I would have to get a regular job. And I did have a regular job at one point, working 44 hours a week and then having to do my content creation on top of that. It's
Mhm.
exhausting.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I nonstop work. I work on my days off that I'm supposed to be off. I work. I'm constantly thinking about work. I'm trying to fall asleep. It's like, what am I going to do for this one? And, you know, all of that stuff.
Yep.
So I definitely feel your pain. Uh, and Regal wants to know, have you experienced any hackers with the Slasher app?
Um. No, thankfully not. It's no,
That's good.
nothing like that. Thankfully. Um. we definitely do our best to keep things nice and secure and safe
Right.
for everybody. Um, but there's no, thankfully it's been good. We've been really fortunate.
That's good. That
Yeah.
is really good to hear. I know there's been some places that have been attacked, but um, I don't really think many people are out for the horror community or apps or apps like that.
Yeah.
You see a lot of it on different platforms like Twitch or
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram. So thankfully you haven't come upon that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's those platforms collect all kinds of crazy data.
Yes,
Um,
they do.
and it's mind blowing the kind of information they have.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of it, you get your scammers and people who are trying to get like social security numbers and credit card numbers and things like that and bank accounts. Get into people's crypto. You have that kind of stuff, but then you have people who they want the data, you know, so that way they can go and either use it or sell it off or whatever they're going to do with it. So there's definitely varying levels of that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, the amount of information people are willing to put out there. Ever since the start of the internet, I have always had a fake name on the internet and a fake date of birth.
Yeah.
There is not one app that has anything real. The amount of information people are willing to give, their date of birth, their first and last names, like all this information. And it's like, all right,
Yeah.
what? How trustworthy are you? I remember when Facebook first came out.
Mhm.
I was on that app like when it first came out. And
Yeah.
MySpace, the amount of information they would ask you, your first and last name, they'd ask you date of birth, they'd ask you specific security questions like, where did you grow up? Your mother's maiden name. These are questions that credit card companies ask you to verify your information when you call them up on the phone.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
people are so willing to hand that information out. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, 100%. I think part of the problem is that, and this may be a helpful idea to somebody else who wants to start a business, but
Right.
I don't think that there's a good enough way to educate people right now in protecting themselves against that. I think if somebody came out with something and said, hey, here's a step-by-step way to help you navigate these things, I think that they would do really well. Because there's so much of it that's available, excuse me, but it's not delivered in a really, really beneficial way. So I think things like that would be really helpful.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I've always used fake everything on the internet.
Yeah.
On any social app, it doesn't matter what it is. It's all made up. And I keep it consistent, though, so I don't forget it, right? Like the date of birth that I have that I sign up for their app, my name. I've had the date of birth and name since the internet was concepted, which was back in 1995 when I remember being on the internet and learning about AOL online.
Yep.
Hardjar wants to know, how do you get more revenue to keep the app going? What are some of the creative ideas or that you use?
So right now it's from merchandise sales and advertising. At the end of the day, I'm still putting a lot of my own money in,
Right.
just to keep things going, to build new stuff. So, between the advertising and the merchandise, there are some features that are going to be paid eventually, but it's not like core features,
Right.
It's going to be like the dating section and stuff like that are sort of like very, very specific. So once I build that up a little bit more and finish that the way I'd like, then I'm going to start offering subscriptions to that. But,
Right.
All the core social functionality that you would expect to find on like Facebook and Instagram and
Right.
stuff, that I'm not changing any of that stuff. It's just like the premium type things.
Oh, of course. And you have to have some type of paywall for how do you keep an app going, right? If there's no money going into the service, because this stuff isn't cheap. People don't
Nope.
realize what kind of money goes into running a social media app or even just running a content creation business or
Yeah.
anything in that field, what kind of monthly services that you have to pay out of pocket
Mhm.
for, so you can
Oh, yeah.
keep things going.
Right. Exactly. I mean, when it comes to the cost to build and to debug and to keep it online, that doesn't even count like as my cost to live. So when you add all this stuff up, it's pretty mind blowing. And I've been super super fortunate to have another business where I'm able to sort of do this kind of stuff.
Right.
But I also want to be able to stand on its own. So we're working on some things to help it get there. So that way, I don't have to put, maybe quite as much in, or hopefully nothing at some point.
Right. Eventually, one day, you would like to have the app to be able to sustain itself and
Right.
hopefully eventually make some sort of income for you. I mean, that's the whole goal for a lot of these things is, not only are you putting in your own hard-earned money, funneling money from your other business or whatever you're working on and going into that, and eventually one day have it to be self-sufficient. So you don't have to
Right.
put any of your money in.
Yeah. And I mean, the cool thing is that there's a whole ecosystem that
Mhm.
sort of exists, right? I don't know if that's actually the right word, but there's this whole thing that exists, a whole process
Mhm.
where, and I think people don't necessarily realize it, but when somebody's working on something like this, you know, having them dedicate all their time and get paid to do this, so that way they can just live and support themselves using it.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily um, to do anything other than to keep their focus, right? So that way it's easier to build things faster
Yep.
and that are better, and just have and put more into um, building.
Yeah.
So, new features, new functionality, new sections, things like that. Just growing it, making it more beneficial, making it more fun.
Mhm.
That's really the goal for wanting to go full time into something, is really just to provide focus and
Yeah.
to make the best possible thing. Um, I mean, at least for me.
Oh yeah.
But,
I'd
I
have to
mean,
agree.
I would love to do that. That's really what I'm working towards now, is to just be able to put 100% of my focus into just the app, and
Mhm.
keep going and not have to think about, like, okay, so here are 25 features I want to add over the next, 4 months, 5 months. Um, I want to just be able to say, okay, now we're going to be able to do this in 2 months or something
Right.
like that. Um, so it'll become easier, and hopefully everyone will benefit by it ultimately,
Right.
because the more I'm able to make, the more that the creators will benefit, the professionals and the fans even. Everyone's
Mhm.
going to be able to find more stuff, have more options, be able to do things that they weren't able to do before. And that's really the goal.
Yeah, and that's great. And I can definitely understand being able to focus on what you want to create.
Hmm.
As somebody who's a creator myself, I'm very fortunate and very lucky, like I said earlier, to have people to invest in my content and my dream job.
Yeah.
If I had to put my focus into a full-time job and then put focus into my creation, my content would suffer greatly,
Sure.
because I would have to focus 8 hours, 9 hours of my day towards a completely different business and then
Yeah.
come in and try to focus on this. I think my own content would take a hit in that because I couldn't complete my focus on creating specific content for the channel.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And it's, especially when you have to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just number crunching all day long or doing things that are very subjective. There's a whole creative element to it. I mean, most of it is really,
Yeah.
for you and for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's really critical to have the time to be able to create when you're inspired to do so.
Yes.
Creativity isn't something that is, you could turn it off, on and off like a switch. At least not for most people.
Right.
Um, but so you need to be able to just kind of stop and harness that
Yeah.
when you are able to. And that's when great things can really happen.
I would have to agree with you. What Harder was saying, maybe you would be able to create an app that would protect people from info skimming.
Yeah, I have so many projects right now that you run with it.
Right?
I will give you my support.
Yeah. I see behind you there you have some Hellraiser collection going on.
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
Hellraiser one of your favorite franchise?
It's up there for sure. I love Clive Barker's creatures and characters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really liked the Hellraiser figures. I thought they were just really well made, and I liked the way that the characters were designed. I thought they were just very unique and interesting. And so yeah, I started to collect them.
Yeah.
And I got the one I got the Pinhead one. It was my first convention actually.
Mm-hmm.
I found a Pinhead figure from one of the vendors, and then I brought it down. Doug Bradley was there, who played Pinhead.
Yeah.
So I brought it over to him, and this was like 12 years ago or something like that. So yeah, I brought it to him, and like that was my first horror collectible.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that was
can't
super cool.
even I can't even remember my first collectible, to be honest with you. I've been collecting for such a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
well over 20 years I've been collecting since I was little, since I was old enough to spend my own allowance from my newspaper route to buy things.
Yeah.
I can tell you my first horror magazine was Fangoria. I would get that
Yeah.
down at the newspaper stand. And, that's when Fangoria was affordable for a young one.
Yeah.
Unlike now, young people, $20 and $20 to $22 an issue. That's a little steep for kids to go and buy.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah,
was one of my first.
It could definitely be a challenge these days to navigate all this kind of stuff, especially collecting. Collecting can be all over the map. You could find stuff that's like really, really inexpensive and reasonable. You could find stuff that's like, just crazy.
I find that as horror has become popular, the things that were once affordable to collect are no longer affordable to collect. Not to your average collector. Now, someone who has thousands of dollars to throw away, disposable income, sure. But I remember going to horror cons back in even as early as 2004, where they were still small. And I went to New Jersey, Elizabethan, I can't remember the town, but the Chiller Con was there. Well, at the time it was called the Chiller Con.
The Chiller.
Yeah, I was in New York. We went 2004. We went to the Chiller Con there. And it was big, but it was still small compared to the big cons. And going there and walking around, seeing the vendors, you were like, oh, I can pick that up. That wasn't expensive. Getting something signed was like $5. Unlike nowadays, $50 to $100 just to get a picture with somebody. Yes. I remember getting my picture taken with Linda Blair and Dick Warlock. This was back in 2004. It was $5.
Yep.
I paid $75 to have my picture taken with Bruce Campbell.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Happening? Why is it so expensive?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely turned into a bigger thing. And now there's a lot more moving parts. You have role photographers come in with their printer setups and their cameras and their backdrops, and of course there's the guests who are there, and are they gonna be in costume or not? So there's sort of like more cooks in the kitchen.
Oh, I definitely agree.
Yeah, it's become a very, very big thing compared to what it used to be, where it was just simple. Like you showed up and there was the person and there are some vendors and, you have a little mix of everything. But now there's these super polished events that are going on.
I agree. You can see the evolution of the cons. And I mean, I had my picture taken with CJ Graham, me and my spawn. It was $50 to take it with my cell phone. This wasn't a professional picture. It was just to take it with my cell phone and have something signed. And I have signed pictures, like I said, with numerous people that I paid $5, maybe $10 tops. And
Yeah.
it's got its pros and cons with the evolution of horror and the horror cons. It definitely has its pros and its cons. They've become bigger. They have more guests. They have more special things. They have panels. They have festival film viewings at these cons. So we've definitely seen the evolution. I've definitely seen the pros and the cons of going to the evolution of Comic Cons or horror cons in general.
Right.
Hardjar wants to know, on your app, can you buy posters, movies, or books, or anything like that?
I mean, we don't directly offer any kind of specific like sale stuff. People will post. There's a lot of authors.
Oh yes.
Horror Writers Association is on there as well. So there are definitely people on there who are selling stuff. Lots and lots of authors. There's a bunch of filmmakers. There's a lot of artists. There's, of course, a lot of podcasters and YouTubers. So, yeah, it really just comes down to who you're following or who's advertising right now. I do have plans to build a section for all that kind of stuff. We're not going to – I don't think we're going to really offer any kind of direct e-commerce type things other than for our own merchandise.
Right, that's a whole other animal.
Right. But, I think I want to connect people with all of the vendors and all of the creators out there. That's also a very big piece to this puzzle, is to be able to connect people in that way too.
Yeah.
Not just on the timeline, but hey, if you're looking for something, here's where you could find it. It's really just about that kind of thing, those connections.
Yeah, there's a section on the app this app has everything rolled into one. There is a section on the app where you can actually go and review movies, show what movies you've been watching and kind of rate them, or movies that you have on your watch list. It's like Letterbox with everything rolled in one spot. So you're not having to go to like 5 different apps to do different things that you want to do. It's all rolled into one. And if you haven't checked out the app, make sure you go and check it out. They do have merch, which is going to be coming out as well. I know with Hardjar, if you weren't here earlier, there will be a Kickstarter crowdfunding coming. Not ready yet, but it will be coming, and I will let you guys know about it. So if anybody is interested in helping the Kickstarter grow, I will have that information for you guys at a future date.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be cool. I definitely want to see like what we can do with that. There's so many cool features that are either just about ready or that I want to build that haven't been started yet. So that's going to help me sort of gauge like what I can do based on things like that.
Yeah.
Because it could be that maybe we do a crowdfunding campaign every so often with like limited edition stuff or special things and stuff like that. Of course we have the regular shop with our non-limited edition merchandise and all those kinds of things. Which, hey, every bit helps. It keeps things, it keeps the lights on, and it keeps new features getting built in. So, but yeah, I'm going to start pushing, to get more stuff done, and to do, bigger things. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Getting there.
It is getting there. But it's all baby steps, right? It's all baby steps. And you have a community that wants to be a part of the app, and you have a community that has the funding to help support the app. And that's very important, is building that community, whether it's a social app, a YouTube channel, Twitch channel, whatever it may be. It's building that community, those people who enjoy using it and that have the ability to help donate towards the cause of keeping the lights on, kind of deal. Hardjar, if you do sign up for the / app, I'm ReAnimateHer on there. Make sure it's like a Facebook, Instagram all in one. You add friends on there. It's not just followers. You add friends on there, and you can comment and like, and you can have a whole section if you enjoy podcasts. a dating section as well. There's a whole section. There's like if you tons of stuff for you to get into. Like I said, it's all rolled into one. Movie reviews, watch lists, friends, pictures, videos, all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, it's sometimes like I'll think about it. I'm like, there's not enough stuff, and then when I'll talk to other people, they're like, this thing is massive.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I guess it's all about perspective,
Yeah. Now, I wish I was able to pull up my phone so I can actually pull up the Slasher app. But yes, the Slasher app it's a big site. Like, you have so much to look at. You have not just people doing their own movie reviews on there. You can go to the home. You can go to your friends section. Like, there's a whole area of stuff that you can do on this app. That you have your own profile, like I said, so you have like your watch list, all information at your fingertips right here. So if you enjoy horror, I would definitely suggest checking it out. And I'm ReAnimateHer on that, so everywhere, ReAnimateHer.
It's funny, like a couple of things that people don't really realize, especially going in. There's no algorithms when it comes to the posts. Like,
right.
If you post something, it'll show up on all of your friends' timelines. So there's no like real restrictions like that maybe 10% of your friends are going to see your stuff. If you're connected, it's there for them. So we're not really throttling anything like that, and people have more opportunity as a result of that. Whereas like if you go to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or something, like you may have 10,000 friends, but only 1,000 of them, if you're lucky, on a good day.
On a good day.
Yeah. And then you also have to post, and you have to get a certain number of likes and bookmarks in order to even be considered to be part of the algorithm. So that way you can keep growing, your network.
Yeah.
We don't work like that.
Yeah, no, I know that. That's great.
So, yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
It is.
And also, like you were saying, it's a mutual connection when you connect with somebody. So it's more of like a friends thing versus a follower thing.
Yes.
Because especially when you're starting out, it could be a real bummer if like you're following 6,000 people and you have like 10 following you back.
Yeah.
So this way, it's kind of like a mutually beneficial situation.
It is.
And, I think it allows people to do more.
I think so too. And like with Instagram, it's all, or Twitter, it's all about ratio, right? How many people are you following compared to following you? And that can be very disheartening, especially if you are a creative in the industry and you're not as big as, some of the other people like Joe Bob Briggs in The Last Drive-In and Darcy the Mail Girl, right? They get to see a huge audience all the time. So someone who is just starting out, or not even maybe just starting out, a podcaster like Final Girl Friday, Molly Oblivion, right? So it's hard getting out there, and it can, like I said, Instagram, Twitter, it can be disheartening as a creative, an artist, a writer, because you're following all these great people that you like to see their content, but you're not getting that follow back. And it's not about making that connection on those apps. It's about who has the most followers, and it's the ratio. What I find on the Slasher app, it has nothing to do with the ratio, and it's nice to just be able to follow, make friends with people and talk to them and converse with them, whether it's through their post or through a message. And I just wanted to show you guys this part here. So if you're on the Slasher app, this is the first thing that opens up is your main homepage. And then you click the little menu button there, which is the Slasher icon, and it opens up a whole other section where you get to write your post there. You can share the app. You can check your friends. You can have groups in there. Again, there's dating. Then you have another section for content, which is news, event info. So if you are hosting events, you can actually put it in there, which I should have done that for this show, but I did not. I need to utilize certain aspects in here that I forget to use as a creator myself.
Yeah, but it's funny. People have to kind of make a career out of being on other social platforms.
Oh God.
You have to constantly learn how the algorithms are handling your stuff.
Yeah.
People have to spend so much time navigating all that kind of stuff, where on Slasher you post something and that's all you need to do. Now you
Yeah.
could spend the rest of your time enjoying yourself and finding other things that you like.
Yes.
You don't have to build a business out of posting your stuff.
Oh my God, I know. And it's so nice on the Slasher app. I mean, you probably have an idea, but I mean, as a creator, I use all of the top social apps, and it's exhausting because it's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's YouTube, it's Twitter, it's this, it's that, and it gets exhausting to having to post on numerous platforms all the time just to keep going. And that's what I really like about the Slasher app. I'm able to post on there, and if it brings people to my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel, awesome. If it brings them to my Instagram, great. But the end goal for me is to meet people in the horror genre. And I agree with you, SWH. The app is great. You've downloaded it and messed with it a bit. Thanks for letting us know about it. You are quite welcome. This is Damon, the creator of it. So if you have any questions, you can ask. But again, getting back to the app itself, you have Discover section, artists, books, movies, music, podcasts. Of course, you've got the Slasher merchandise store right there. And of course, your settings and help. Again, if you haven't checked this app out, please do so. Let's make it the next Instagram. Let's make it totally better than Instagram and blow it out of the friggin' water for us horror fans. Of course. The whole point of Coffee Chat of Horrors is to not only educate people on horror, because usually when I'm not doing interviews, I am doing a show where I compile research on a movie or a TV show. And it's to bring awareness that horror isn't just about blood, guts, and ass. It's everything underneath that umbrella. It's educating people on horror, what it's about, behind the scenes in movies, and also being a supporter of independent stuff, whether it's a movie, a book, an app. It's to bring awareness and educate people on these things so they are more aware of it. The internet is huge, and some of it is censored. And not everybody knows everything, and you may not find the Slasher app readily, easily in your country because of whatever reason or wherever you are. So the whole making of CCOH is so I can bring that to the masses. I mean, my masses aren't like, millions of people, but that doesn't matter. It's the people who want to see this content who are going to be interested in that app or in that movie or whatever it may be.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's just awareness.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to is just spreading the word, no matter what it is. And it's funny because I think about these kinds of things, and I think to myself, if everyone took like a minute out of their day to just talk about one thing that they liked, but did it collectively, things would that would set things off for a lot of people. Just to kind of go, oh, there's this new thing. So gets put out there, and okay, now you have so many people with X number of followers or whatever. That is a huge thing when it's done exponentially that way, because then they could find out about your podcast and your YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff, and blow it up in a matter of minutes, really. But it's difficult to do that. But yeah, I mean, if you like something, to anybody watching, if you like something, tell people about it. It really makes a big difference to the people that created that, whether it's a movie or a podcast or a book or whatever it is. That goes such a long way. And anyone who's creating anything, I'm sure they would really appreciate it. I know I do. When people talk about the app, I'm just I'm so appreciative of that, because nobody has to talk about it, but because people are into it and they talk about it with others, that's a big deal to me,
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a huge deal. Word of mouth is big for any business, whether it's on the internet or locally in your city. Word of mouth is huge. Harjar says, I do not do social media much, but but will check this out. Got it installed now. Right on, Harjar. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I hope you have fun.
Yeah. And Zach is trying to download the app now, but internet and cell services are a little shaky. Yes, because where Zach is at, there was a storm and some crazy shit, ice and all this stuff happened. There's a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
without power, 80,000 people without power where you are.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah. Be safe. That's
yes,
rough.
definitely. Joy
Yeah.
Toy, may it spread like Omicron. Right? Become so viral out there.
Thank you.
Uh, awesome, Hajar. I will make sure I send the request back. And you're installed and set up? Yes, Dahi.
Cool.
That was the smoothest account registration process in a long time. It's a very simple, smooth process. Really, it is.
Yeah.
But yes, can if you want, we do have Juju in the chat. So exclamation point JUJU to give it to Zach and the people wherever Zach is at. Because yeah, 80,000 people without power. That's
Yeah.
not good. And it's been a few days, not just one day.
Yeah.
Smoother than Ra's balls. I think so. And these are the balls that we're discussing. They're Lindor. I love my Lindor balls. People know me for that. When they see me, they think of my balls. I'm always eating these Lindor chocolates.
They're good. I mean,
they're amazing. I should be sponsored by them. But I will make sure, Lost Signal, that I'm following you. I'm your friend on there. And definitely, we should make a post in maybe in my YouTube community section where I do post of everybody's name so we can go and friend each other on there.
yeah, that'd be really cool.
Memphis. Oof. But it is getting to be that time. I don't want to take up any more of your Sunday morning or afternoon for you. Is there, before we go, anything that you want to say? Any shout outs to people or?
Well, shout out to everybody who's on Slasher. Seriously, thank you all so very much. You know, if it wasn't for all of you, it wouldn't be what it is right now. So that's really, really important to me. And I do appreciate that so much. So many of us are having a great time because of all the cool posts and people's thoughts and opinions and what they're doing and want to share. Really, just thank you. You've really all been such really terrific people, and it's been awesome. And let's keep it going. We're going to make things bigger and more fun and more interesting, and help you connect with more of what you want, what you're looking for. Just to make Slasher more fun, to make the community more fun, and to just help the entire horror genre be much more easy to navigate, so you could find things that you like and want to experience.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for making an awesome app. I love the Slasher app. It's a fun app. I'm not overly social on social media myself. Like I said, there's days that I don't post at all on any platform, really. But it's a great app, and it doesn't have drama. It's not. I want to make that clear. The Slasher app it's like a Facebook and Instagram and a Twitter, but without the toxicity. I haven't had one bit of toxicity towards me on that app, whether it's because I'm a female in the industry, in the horror, and I love horror, or anything. I haven't had any toxicity. So if you're worried about that being a social media app, because we do know that the majority of the apps out there do have it, Slasher, I have yet to come on that, and I've been on the Slasher app for a long time. So let me put that down to you guys. So in case you're like, well, you know, I don't do social media because of the trolls and the toxicity. I haven't run into that, and I'm on that app quite often. So
yeah, that's actually kind of built into Slasher's DNA, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
When I created the community standards, it was really all about eliminating all the stress and nonsense that's in every other place, because if you wanted that, you could just go to those places that already exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the idea was to kind of get rid of as much of that stuff as possible, so that way we could just have fun, because pretty much every horror fan that's out there, all they want to do is just enjoy what they do and what they love. So my goal was to really just make that as easy as possible and get rid of all the junk. So that's something that was really done on purpose, and thankfully it's worked fairly well. But yeah, that's for me, that's what makes it fun. Yeah,
no, it's a great app, and thank you again for creating an awesome app. Thank you very much for being here, And to everybody that's here, thank you. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for investing in my content, whether you just watch me or financially invest into this. Because of you guys, I can create this and I can have awesome people on the show like Damon. So again, thank you. Next weekend, you may want to join us as well, because we get to sit down with Christine Morgan, author of The Wolf's Feast, Birthright, Visceral, and so much more. I'm very excited to talk to her. Until next time, my creepies, I'm going to slash this all later, and I'm going to say goodbye to Damon. Damon, thank you again for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate this. This has been great.
Awesome. And I will be in contact with you to find out about your Kickstarter.
Cool.
Excited. All right. You have yourself a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us. I hope you have an amazing, amazing Sunday. I will see you guys Monday morning over on Twitch. We will be there at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll be diving back into the zombie apocalypse, 7 Days to Die. And Wednesday, we're going to be checking out Dying Light 2, Stay Human. I love your guts, guys. Seriously, thank you so very much for all that you do. Because of you guys here, whether you're just watching or you support me on Patreon, YouTube, or Twitch, your money, your investment goes towards for me to keep creating this content. And I can't even tell you guys how grateful and thankful I am to each and every one of you. So thank you. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Thank you all for being here. And yes, Slasher does keep all of the trolls away. I love your guts, guys. Mwah.